Okay, so picture this. A coffin shows up from Hong Kong. But when they open it up,
Oh, boy.
not who they were expecting at all.
Really?
Talk about a shock, right? And it gets even crazier.
Okay.
Because this isn't just some mix-up at the funeral home.
Right.
This coffin is like a key to this whole web of international intrigue and deception.
I'm intrigued already.
So we're going to untangle it all in this deep dive.
All right, let's do it.
And to guide us through this maze, we've got Nelson Ryan, our private investigator.
Okay.
Now, he's got a personal stake in this whole thing because get this. They found a murdered Chinese woman in his office.
Oh, no.
And guess what?
What?
This mysterious arrival from Hong Kong is tied directly to her case.
Wow. So we've got murder.
Yeah.
We've got international travel. What else?
Buckle up, because we've also got a cast of characters that would make a spy novelist proud.
Give me some names.
First up, we've got Herman Jefferson.
Okay.
He's the supposedly deceased husband, the one everyone thought was in that coffin.
Gotcha.
Then we have Joanne Jefferson,
Yeah.
the wife.
All right.
She's the one who shipped the coffin.
Okay.
And of course, we can't forget the man found inside,
Who was that?
Frank Felling. And he is very much alive.
Very much alive.
Now it gets even more interesting,
How so?
because we also have Janet West,
Okay.
Herman's secretary.
Right.
Let's just say she's got secrets of her own.
Ooh, secrets always make things more interesting.
Right.
So where do we even begin with the story this tangled?
Well, I think the best place to start is with the murder in Pasadena City.
Okay, the murder.
Yeah, so they find this young Chinese woman dead in Nelson Ryan's office.
In his office.
And to make matters worse, she was shot with his gun.
His gun.
Which just happened to be missing from his car.
So it sounds like a classic frame job.
Oh, absolutely. But who would want to frame Ryan?
And what does this woman have to do with that coffin all the way from Hong Kong?
Exactly. So to answer those questions, we got to dig into Herman Jefferson's life.
Okay, what do we know about him?
Well, we've got these letters he sent to his father,
Okay.
and they reveal that he was secretly married to Joanne.
So that's the wife, Joanne.
Yeah, she was a Chinese refugee.
Interesting.
And in the letters, Herman's begging his dad for his blessing.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, and maybe a little cash, too.
Well, everyone needs a little help sometimes.
But here's the thing. Herman's father, J. Wilbur Jefferson,
Okay.
he was not thrilled about this marriage.
Ah, so there's family drama.
Oh, yeah, big time. He'd already picked out a different bride for his son.
Oh boy, talk about adding fuel to the fire.
Right, so we've got murder, we've got family secrets.
Yeah, this is getting good.
And now, let's throw in a little bit of romance, shall we?
Ooh, I do love a good love story.
Remember Janet West, the secretary?
Yeah, the one with the secrets.
Right, well, there are these little hints that suggest there might have been something between her and Herman.
A past romance, perhaps.
Exactly, and when she finds out about his death, let's just say her reaction is a little suspicious.
So she's not exactly grieving.
Not exactly.
So maybe she knows more than she's letting on.
That's what we're thinking, but to get more answers,
Yeah.
our investigation takes Nelson Ryan all the way to Hong Kong.
Wow. Following the trail of the coffin.
Pretty much he ends up in this shady hotel called the Celestial Empire.
Sounds fancy.
Not exactly, more like rundown and full of secrets.
Okay, so not so fancy.
And while he's there, he meets Layla.
Who's Layla?
She knew both Joanne and Herman.
Ah, so another connection.
And she knows some interesting things about Herman's life.
Like what?
Well, for starters, there are rumors that he was renting this super luxurious villa.
A villa.
Yeah, which doesn't exactly add up with him begging his dad for money.
Right, that doesn't make much sense.
And here's where things take a dark turn. Layla's knowledge makes her a target.
Oh, no.
They find her murdered,
What?
silenced with a makeshift silencer.
A silencer.
No doubt about it. Someone wants this case to go away.
It's a clear message. Stay away.
Exactly. And just when you think it can't get any more complicated,
Yeah.
we meet Stella Enright.
Who's she?
Well, her brother, Harry.
Okay.
He owns that very villa that Layla mentioned.
Hold on. So Herman's supposed lavish lifestyle is now connected to...
These people who might have a very dark agenda.
Now this is getting interesting.
You think that's interesting?
I'm all...
Ryan takes a trip to Silvermine Bay.
Okay.
And guess what?
What?
Someone tries to kill him?
What, they tried to assassinate him?
Yep, someone wants him out of the picture permanently.
But why? Who's behind all this?
Well, it turns out Ryan walked right into a trap set by Mu Haitan.
Who's Mu Haitan?
He was posing as a helpful guide, but he was working with someone else.
Someone even worse.
You bet, the mastermind behind it all is none other than Frank Belling,
Frank Belling, the guy in the coffin.
the one and only.
But he's supposed to be dead.
That's what everyone thought.
So not only is he alive, he's a criminal mastermind.
Pretty much it turns out he's a wanted criminal.
Wow, this is a lot to take in.
I know, right? And his plan was to escape Hong Kong.
By shipping himself in a coffin.
Exactly. Who would suspect that?
Talk about bold.
Right.
So we've got a dead woman in Ryan's office, a coffin swap, an assassination attempt, and a whole lot of unanswered questions.
And that's just the beginning.
Oh, boy. I can't wait to hear what happens next.
Aye.
Okay, so Frank Belling is alive, and he shipped himself out of Hong Kong in a coffin.
Yeah.
But how did he even pull that off?
Right. It's not like you could just walk into a funeral home and say, hey, can I borrow a body?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had to help someone on the inside.
Someone who could get him access to Herman's body.
Right, and think about the timing.
Oh, yeah.
It had to be perfect.
Everything had to happen fast before anyone realized what was going on.
He couldn't risk anyone getting suspicious.
And what about the coffin itself?
Right.
I mean, you can't just assume no one's going to open it up during shipping.
Exactly. He had to make sure it stayed sealed.
Talk about a risky plan.
Well, it seems to have worked, at least for a while.
Until that shootout in Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah, things got pretty intense.
That's where it all ends for Belling.
It does, huh? Justice served.
In a way,
Yeah.
but we still have so many questions.
Yeah, like what about Stella and Harry?
Right. Were they in on this whole scheme?
And what about Joanne?
Was she a willing participant or just a pawn?
We need answers.
Well, back in Pasadena, they exhume the coffin.
Yeah.
You guessed it, it's not Herman inside.
So it's
Frank Belling, just like Ryan found in Hong Kong.
Wow, proof positive.
But the surprises don't end there.
What else happened?
Remember Janet West?
Herman's secretary?
Yeah, the quiet one. Well, she decides to break her silence.
Well, she did.
She exposes this corrupt lawyer, Jay Wade.
Jay Wade.
Turns out he was involved in the whole drug smuggling operation.
So it wasn't just about Belling escaping.
Nope, this thing goes way deeper than we thought.
We're talking international crime, a corrupt legal system.
And a whole lot of people who want to keep their secrets buried.
So much for a simple coffin swap.
Wow.
This is turning into a full-blown conspiracy.
And to think it all started with a murder in Nelson Ryan's office.
That poor Chinese woman.
Yeah, she was just the beginning.
But why kill her? Why frame Ryan?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Maybe they needed to drag him into this mess.
Make him part of their game.
Use him somehow.
It's almost like they knew he wouldn't be able to resist a good mystery.
Especially one that hits so close to home.
Speaking of home, what about those letters from Herman to his father?
Oh, yeah, the ones where he's begging for money.
And a blessing.
It's like he was trapped between two worlds.
On one side, his family with all their expectations.
And on the other side, Joanne, the woman he loved.
Do you think that pressure, that feeling of being stuck, could have pushed him towards this criminal life?
It's possible maybe he saw it as a way out.
A chance to create a new life for himself and Joanne.
Even if it meant breaking the law.
And let's not forget about Janet West.
And,
Yeah, we still don't know the full story of her relationship with Herman.
There's definitely more to her than meets the eye.
I mean, why wait till now to expose Jay Wade?
Was it out of guilt? Or was she just trying to save herself? Maybe a little bit of both. Whatever her reasons, it's clear that she's not just an innocent bystander.
She's a player in this game just like everyone else.
And what a game it is. Full of twists and turns, betrayals, and double crosses.
And all set against the backdrop of one of the most vibrant cities in the world.
Hong Kong.
It's a city that's both alluring and dangerous.
A place where dreams can come true.
But also where nightmares can begin.
Ryan's arrival at that seedy hotel was just the beginning.
It was his entry point into a world he never could have imagined.
A world of secrets and lies.
Where the stakes are high.
And the price of the truth can be deadly.
Remember Layla?
The woman who knew too much?
Her death was a message.
A warning to anyone who dared to dig too deep.
And that assassination attempt on Ryan.
That was no accident.
Someone wanted him silenced.
They were afraid of what he might uncover.
It's amazing he survived.
He's lucky to be alive.
But he came back from Hong Kong, a changed man.
Haunted by what he saw.
Determined to expose the truth no matter the cost.
He's not the same Nelson Ryan who left Pasadena.
And that exhumation back home.
What a revelation.
Not only did it confirm what Ryan found in Hong Kong,
it opened up a whole new can of worms.
Janet West's decision to expose Jay Wade.
That was a game changer.
Suddenly we're dealing with something much bigger than just a coffin swap.
This is about power and corruption.
And people who are willing to do anything to protect their interests.
Janet's actions raise some interesting questions, though.
Yeah, like what was her motivation?
Was it guilt?
Or self-preservation?
Or maybe a bit of both?
It's hard to say for sure,
But one thing's for certain, she's a key piece of this puzzle.
and we're not done putting it together yet. You know, it's amazing how this whole thing started with just a coffin swap.
Right.
Now we're talking about international crime rings, corrupt lawyers.
It's like that coffin was just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We pulled on one thread and this whole web of deception unraveled.
And all those characters involved.
Oh man, don't even get me started.
Each one with their own secrets and motivations.
Like Herman caught between his family and the woman he loved.
His classic tale, really.
And Janet, the quiet secretary, who ends up blowing the whistle.
She's still a mystery to me.
Right. What was she thinking all that time?
And of course we can't forget Frank Belling, the mastermind behind it all.
The guy who shipped himself out of Hong Kong in a coffin?
Talk about an escape artist.
But even he couldn't outrun his fate.
No, in the end, justice was served.
But not before a lot of lives were turned upside down.
And let's not forget about Joanne.
The missing wife.
We never really found out what happened to her.
Right? Was she in on it, or was she a victim too?
That's one piece of the puzzle we may never solve.
And that's what makes this case so fascinating.
It's full of unanswered questions.
Loose ends that leave you wanting more.
And it all happened in Hong Kong.
Such a vibrant city.
A place of contrasts and contradictions.
Where ancient traditions meet modern ambitions.
It's the perfect setting for a story like this.
A story of greed and deception.
But also of love and loyalty.
Think about the lengths these people went to.
To protect their secrets.
To escape their past.
To get what they wanted.
It makes you wonder what we're all capable of.
When push comes to shove.
Nelson Ryan certainly learned a lot about himself during this investigation.
He went to Hong Kong looking for answers.
But he came back with even more questions.
He saw a side of humanity he never knew existed.
And it changed him.
Made him realize that the world isn't always black and white.
Sometimes there are shades of gray.
And sometimes the truth is harder to find than you think.
And what about Janet West?
The woman who finally broke her silence.
What was her motivation?
Was it guilt or was it self-preservation?
We may never know for sure.
But her actions had a profound impact on the case.
She exposed Jay Wade and brought the whole conspiracy crashing down.
But even in the end, there are still so many mysteries.
Like what happened to Joanne?
And did everyone involved in this scheme face justice?
Those are questions we'll have to leave unanswered for now.
But that's the beauty of a good mystery.
It keeps you thinking.
It challenges your assumptions.
And it reminds you that the truth is often stranger than fiction.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to consider this.
Okay.
What secrets are buried in your own life?
That's a good one.
And what would you do to protect them?
That's something for all of us to think about.
Until next time.